Herb Huerta was sentenced to life in federal prison in 1993. He was just 41 years old. He had been convicted of racketeering narcotics and selling heroin. Now at 62, he sits in one of the nation's most secure federal prisons located in Florence, Colorado.
He's basically locked down 23 hours a day, virtually away from any other human being, but he still is able to control the organization. So that says something to his power and control and how good he set up the organization. Now, there has been in the past, some challenges to his power. Some youngsters that have come up and said, hey, we didn't like the way you're doing things, or, you're old, you're a has-been, and he has several times maintained control and power and put out hits and killed a lot of those people.
Huerta's name often comes up in trials of Texas Mexican Mafia members, the president for life of the organization he founded, known for drug dealing and assassinations of members and associates. His second in command, Benito Alonso. He's 79 years old and is serving a life sentence for trying to smuggle a weapon into a Texas prison back in the 1970s. Authorities have suspected Huerta and Alonso of ordering or okaying punishment on the streets from behind bars. But with a long trail of violence tied to the gang's activity, neither Alonso nor Huerta has ever been charged with murder.
He's very careful. He has done time longer than, a lot of convicts in America, so he's very good at what he does. He would not remain in power if he was not good. Benito Alonso, the same thing. So sometimes just the look of their eyes, they're given the illicit approval, and they can say, I didn't authorize anything. You don't have anything. You can't prove it. People will hear about it if they're messing up, doing something wrong. They're going to hear about it from him. So if he doesn't say anything, he's basically giving his approval that it's okay.
We looked at 7 federal cases involving the Texas Mexican Mafia. They include 98 people convicted for their roles, from drug trafficking to assaulting and robbing members for not paying the dime, money they earned from selling drugs for the gang, and even murder. We found they were sentenced to 27 prisons across America, even as far away as Hawaii. Some started serving life sentences when they were just in their early 20s. One convicted in federal court for racketeering was later convicted in state court for capital murder. He has since been executed. One died in prison early into his sentence. 15 have been released. The Federal Bureau of Prisons has no status on 7 of the members. For those behind the walls, their membership is known to prison staff.
They're asked that when they're processed in classification, if they have any enemies that they can't be housed with, and then that's taken into account and checked, and they will have facility separation, if not facility separation, unit separation, so that they can't get to each other. A lot of times that's personal more than gang related. Believe it or not, even though they're rivals out on the streets, I've seen Crips and Bloods who would kill each other on the streets and are cellmates and good friends on the inside. So the politics change when you get locked up a little bit, the dynamics. The common enemy is the system, the officers, and a lot of times it becomes an enemy of my enemy is my friend type of philosophy.
Many inmates find time to gather together in prison yards, even posing for group photos like this one. While we know inmates do end up with jobs on the inside, doing things like clerical work or even kitchen duty, they typically get a second job assigned to them by the gang, and it usually involves committing crimes just like they did on the outside.
One thing about members, they're not all the same. You have individuals who may be drug dealers on the street. That individual is going to be a drug dealer in prison. That's one thing that the public a lot of times doesn't understand very good, I believe, is that crime doesn't stop when they go to prison or jail. They just continue that. So the drug dealer is going to be a drug dealer inside. Somebody who was burglarizing houses is going to be the cell thief on the inside. Somebody who was committing assaults, maybe a hitman on the outside, that's the one who's going to be stabbing somebody inside the walls of our prisons in America.
It's all part of their lifelong commitment to the gang to continue doing whatever is asked of them wherever they may be. It's a pledge they all take knowing that there's only one way out, and that's death.